I'm gonna work on some animations and commissions today, but I'm just gonna be watching some of these spooky videos on the side.
Urban legends are stories that claim to be true,
They help me
sometimes used to
concentrate.
teach moral lessons or simply to enjoy a good story. While some aren't really too believable, there's those that have really disturbing, true backstories behind them and make us wonder how much truth there really is to them after all. Whether they're true or not, though, everyone, no matter where they're from, has heard and maybe even believe one or two of them. In this video, we'll be taking the deepest dive yet into the world of urban legends, aiming to cover all those you're
That's a
familiar with and
big,
many
that's a
you've never heard of.
big iceberg.
So, without
Holy.
further ado, welcome to the complete urban legend iceberg. Ankle slicing car thief. The ankle slicing car thief is an urban legend that taps into fears of vulnerable situations, mainly those involving women in seemingly safe places like parking lots. The roots of this legend aren't really too well known, but some trace it back to the late 1970s, which was a time where people had a heightened fear and paranoia about random acts of violence. This was because things like Cold War tensions were around, and even since terrorism was rising at the international stage. The tale typically involves an assailant hiding under a victim's car in a public parking lot or garage. As the victim approaches their vehicle, the hidden attacker slashes at their ankles, aiming to sever the Achilles tendon, which renders the victim immobile. This then allows the attacker to rob or steal the car of the victim, simply leaving them in severe pain and unable to escape or pursue. The thing about this legend, though, that makes it especially scary is the sort of plausibility to it, since we're not really tapping into supernatural things here. It also echoes childhood fears of hidden monsters like the boogeyman under our bed, but translated more into an adult context. The spread of this legend was so pervasive in some instances that it prompted police departments to address public concern, despite no verified reports of such crimes matching the exact details of the legend. Variations of this story sometimes also include different elements, like the requirement for a gang initiation involving the severing and presentation of a limb, although these two lack substantiation. In recent years, social media like TikTok has had some effect on the urban legend too, with people making videos with captions like, "Me checking if someone is under my car, trying to slash my ankles." Black eyed children.
Oh, dude, I do that
The story of the
sometimes.
black eyed children
Oh,
is
that's
a
so
long
scary. I
urban
do that.
legend about mysterious kids who have
Sometimes I check my car, like check under the car, or every time I get in the car, I'm like, I turn on all the lights, and it's like, hey, someone there, huh?
completely black eyes and show up at people's homes or cars, usually asking to be let inside. These encounters often leave people feeling very uneasy, and the story of this whole phenomenon basically became widely known through a report by a journalist named Brian Bethel in 1996. Brian Bethel claimed he met two children in Albaline, Texas, and
Oh
according to him,
yeah, this
the
story's a
children asked for a
classic.
ride in his car, but he felt a sudden fear and decided to drive away. Since then, similar stories have been reported across the world, with people reporting that children might ask to use your phone or say that they're waiting for their parents, but something always feels off, especially since the children's eyes are all black with no white part visible at all. The
Black-eyed
children's
kids scare
appearance
me.
is usually described as somewhat normal,
I know they're
at
fake,
times wearing
but still.
clothes that sort of seem out of date. One detailed account involves an elderly couple and two mysterious children taking place in a snowy town in Vermont. Basically, one night during a pretty bad snowstorm, the couple heard three distinct knocks at their door. Upon opening the door, they were greeted by a young boy and a girl standing in the cold, who politely asked if they could come in to wait for their parents. Despite feeling uncertain, the couple ended up welcoming them inside. The
Wait,
children
they
sat
let him
on the
in?
couch as the wife prepared hot cocoa, trying to make them feel at home. Meanwhile, the husband attempted to engage them in conversation, but his questions were often met with silence. Returning with the drinks, the wife noticed their pet cat displaying fear and aggression towards their guest, which was an unusual behavior that raised her suspicious. It was when the children asked to use the restroom that the wife truly noticed that their eyes were completely black without any sign of white. This realization struck her with instant fear, and her husband, who was already distressed, revealed he was experiencing a sudden and unexplainable nosebleed. Then, All of a sudden, without warning, the house was plunged into darkness as the power went out, mirroring the deep blackness of the children's eyes. And amidst the blackout, the children calmly stated that their parents had arrived. They then left the house, and the wife, seeking to glimpse these parents, saw two tall, slender men waiting at the driveway.
Hey,
Despite
yo,
ignoring
this
the
is like a
gesture,
new
they didn't
version of it.
respond
Slender Man.
and simply
What
drove
the hell?
away with the children. After the children's departure, the power returned, but a series of disturbing events began to take place.
I've never heard of
Then,
anyone letting
according to them,
black-eyed
2
kids
of the 4
in.
cats had disappeared, and the 4th was tragically found dead. The husband's health also started getting bad too, marked by continuous nosebleeds, which ultimately led to a diagnosis of aggressive skin cancer.
What?
Cow-tipping.
What?
Cow-tipping is
They
an urban
died?
legend that describes the
What
purported
the heck?
activity of sneaking up on a sleeping or unsuspecting upright cow and then pushing it over for one's entertainment. This practice
Cow
is
tipping?
generally considered a tall tale and is viewed as a stereotype of rural activities. For fun.
Yeah,
The concept
it
of
is, I think it
cow-tipping
is a
actually developed
stereotype.
in the 1970s, with historical accounts dating back to the Roman Empire, where tales of animals that can't get up if they fell were common. One version of the legend suggests that because cows sleep standing up, it's possible to approach and tip them over without the animals reacting. However, the thing is, cows only sleep lightly while standing up and are actually easily awakened. Instead, they lie down to sleep deeply, and it's said that most cows weigh over 450 kilograms and can easily resist any lesser force. A 2005
Yeah.
study by zoologist Margot Lilly and her student Tracy Bossler at the University of British Columbia concluded that tipping a cow would require a force of nearly 3,000 newtons and is therefore impossible to accomplish.
Dude,
by
that's
a single
awesome. There was a
person.
scientific study on
Their
cow tipping.
calculations showed that it would
Hell
require
yeah.
more than 4 people to apply enough force to tip over a cow. Journalist Jake Steelhammer also noted that the myth of cow tipping probably originated in the 1970s and became more popular in the 1980s because of movies like Tommy Boy and Heathers, which featured cow tipping expeditions. Stories about cow tipping are often secondhand, told by someone who claims to know someone else who has done it, but not actually by individuals who have directly experienced it. Slender Man. The Slender Man is a fictional character that emerged from the internet in 2009, created by Eric Knudsen, who's also known as
I'm
Victor
still
Surge
stuck in the
on
Slender Man
Something
era.
Awful Forum.
I thought that was
This
peak.
character is portrayed as a tall, thin figure with a featureless face, wearing a black suit. Its origins lie in a Create Paranormal Images contest, where Knudsen submitted 2 black and white images of groups of children with a tall, spectral figure in a black suit added to them, alongside snippets of text that describe the abduction of the children. The proximity to the Slender Man is said to cause a slender sickness, which is then said to cause paranoia, nightmares, and illness.
Slender sickness.
Originally targeting children or young adults in narratives, it's said that the Slender Man sometimes influences individuals to act on his behalf, which goes into the next part of this entry. The concept of proxies or humans under the Slender Man's control was popularized by the web series Marble Hornets. This series also introduced the idea of the Slender Man interfering with video and audio recordings. But the Slender Man legend took an even more darker turn in 2014 when 2 girls ended up stabbing their classmate 19 times after luring
No.
her into a secluded area, claiming
Jesus
that they did it
Christ.
to appease Slender Man and become proxies. They believed that by committing a murder, it would allow them to live alongside him, and they also feared that failure to commit the murder would result
That's
in
a good
harm
picture.
to their families. Thankfully, though, the girl ended up surviving the attack, managing to crawl to an open area where she was discovered by a bicyclist. The severity of her injuries was such that she was only 1 millimeter away from death, as it said that one of the stab wounds came really close to her heart. And both the girls who did it entered pleas of not guilty because of mental illness, and ultimately accepted plea deals to avoid prison time, and instead were committed to mental health institutions.
Good lord.
If you guys want to read more about it, I do suggest it. It's an interesting case, and yeah, I'll leave a link in the description. Hanako-san. Hanako-san is a Japanese urban legend about the spirit of a young girl who haunts school toilets. The origins and details of the legend kind of vary, with some accounts saying Hanako-san was a World War II era girl killed during an air raid while playing hide and go seek, while others say she was murdered by a parent or stranger, or even that she took her own life in a school toilet because of bullying. Physically, Hanako-san is often described as having a bobbed haircut and wearing a red skirt or dress. In terms of her nature, she's described as a yokai or yuri, which are types of spirits in Japanese folklore. To summon Hanako-san, it's said that one must knock 3 times on the third stall of a girl's toilet, usually on the 3rd floor of a school, and then ask if she's present. In some version of the story, Hanako-san's response
Well, that makes me want to
could
play
lead to
Dread
some
Out
pretty bad
or Fatal
consequences,
Frame.
like a bloody or ghostly hand appearing, the individual being pulled into the toilet, or even encountering a 3-headed lizard. The whole thing kind of
Three-headed
reminds me
lizard?
of a
What the
scene
hell?
in Stranger Things, where a creature named Vecna appeared in a bathroom stall, which was pretty creepy looking back, and let me know if you guys know what I'm referring to. And the legend of
Stranger
Hanako-san dates
Things?
back to the
Alright.
1950s, and has since become a well-known urban legend associated with schools across Japan. Since the 1990s though, it's been gaining a lot of popularity, and it's been featured in a lot of films too. Colonel Buck's Cursed Tomb. The legend of Colonel Jonathan Buck and the Witch's Curse originates from Bucksport, Maine, a town founded by Buck himself in 1763. This story centers around Buck's monumental gravestone, which is notable for an unusual stain resembling a boot. And the lore surrounding this stain basically comes from New England, where witchcraft was a big part of its early history. Colonel Buck, born in 1719 in Woburn, Massachusetts, and later residing in Haverhill, moved to what is now Maine, establishing a settlement that eventually bore his name. His contributions to the area and his role in the Revolutionary War made him a really respected figure there. Following his death in 1795, his descendants erected a commemorative monument in 1852. The urban legend, though, that has persisted through the years first appeared in public consciousness in the late 19th century and involves Buck's alleged role as a judge condemning a woman to death for witchcraft. As the narrative goes, during her execution, the woman cursed Buck, proclaiming that a mark would appear on his gravestone as an eternal testament to what he did. She is quoted as saying, "Jonathan Buck, listen to these words, the last my tongue will utter. It is the spirit of the one and only true living God which bids me speak them to you. You will die soon. Over your grave they will erect a stone, that all
Holy.
may know where your bones are crumbling to dust. But listen, upon that stone the imprint of my foot will appear, and for all time, long after you and your cursed race has vanished from this earth, will the people from far and near know that you murdered a woman." This curse, as legend has it, manifested as the boot-shaped stain on Buck's gravestone, serving as the haunting reminder of the woman's death and Buck's alleged involvement. And this tale has actually seen various iterations over time, with some versions suggesting that the woman was not a witch, but perhaps a wrong lover or an indigenous woman. And historical records don't really support the existence of any such trial or execution carried out by Buck, and no concrete evidence really links him to the practice of witchcraft accusations. The last known witch trials in New England occurred decades before Buck's lifetime, predominantly during the Salem witch trials of 1692. Also, it's said that the stain on Buck's monument is probably natural, attributed to the properties of the stone and its interaction with the environment, rather than a supernatural curse.
Damn, that
Killer
sucks.
in the Backseat. The urban legend of the killer in the backseat, also known as high beams, is a pervasive tale in the United States and Canada, telling of a hidden assailant lying in wait for unsuspecting drivers. This story taps into deep-seated fears of vulnerability, especially when one is alone at night. The core narrative involves a woman driving home on a dark, deserted highway, followed by a strange car that flashes its high beams, signaling danger lurking closer than she realizes. The essence of the legend unfolds as follows. After stopping at a gas station, a woman resumes her late-night journey home. Soon after, though, she notices a car aggressively tailing her, flashing its high beams and even ramming her car. In a state of panic, she races to safety, only to discover, upon reaching home, that the pursuing driver was attempting to warn her of a more immediate threat, being a man with an axe hidden in her backseat. Variations of this tale include different
Oh,
methods by
scary.
which the woman is alerted to the danger in her backseat, such as a gas station attendant noticing the killer when the woman stops for fuel, or just the killer revealing himself while the car is still in motion. Despite these variations, though, the central element always remains the same, that the killer's presence is in the backseat. The origin of this urban legend is kind of difficult to pinpoint, with documented references dating back to at least 1968. Killer clowns. The concept of killer clowns or evil clowns has its roots in the fear of clowns, known as coulrophobia. This fear has been amplified by various cultural references and urban legends through the years. One key figure often associated with the fear of clowns is John Wayne Gacy, a serial killer who performed as Pogo the Clown at children's parties and other events. While Gacy didn't commit his crimes in his clown costume, his dual identity contributed to the sinister image of clowns in popular culture. The evil clown trope has also been explored in various forms of media too, including literature, films, and television. Characters like the Joker from Batman and Pennywise from Stephen King's It have become iconic representations of these fears. These portrayals often depict clowns as psychopathic and deviant, which, just adds to the fear of clowns in popular culture. Urban legend of evil clown sightings, known as phantom clowns, have also been reported in real life too. The first known incident was in 1981 in
Phantom
Brookline,
clown?
Massachusetts, where children reported that men dressed as clowns had attempted to lure them into a van. This phenomenon resurfaced in various locations over the years, including Phoenix, Arizona in 1985, West Orange, New Jersey in 1991, and in several other places. These incidents often involve reports of clowns trying to kidnap children, although in most cases, these reports were made by children and were not confirmed by adults or police officers. In 2016, the killer clown craze emerged again, as costume individuals stood on street corners to scare passersby. To be honest, I personally was paranoid of the whole killer clown frenzy in 2016, since it was all over the place. I used to go down to the creek and stuff, and I would just always be scared that a clown would just pop up. Kill Switch.
Same,
Kill
twin.
Switch, reportedly
Same.
released in 1989 by the Karvina Corporation in Czechoslovakia, is a game known for its self-erasure feature after completion. A little background on the game: it offered players two characters, Gast, an invisible demon, and Portal, a human woman. And because of Gast's invisibility making navigation difficult, players primarily chose Portal. Basically, it said that she wakes up in an abandoned coal mine, aiming to escape while encountering deceased coworkers and various demonic entities.
What the hell?
The game unfolds in a mine under attack by demons and coal golems, with Porto discovering bodies of miners and facing demonic inspectors sent by the Soviet Corporation. The plot involves industrial exploitation, hinted to critique Soviet industrial methods. To progress, players collect iron axes to decipher code revealed by a character online as Porto 881. This deciphered code leads Porto to ingest raw coke, enabling her to maintain a stable size and navigate the game's final levels. Upon reaching the surface, the game self-deletes, removing all files from a player's computer, prohibiting any replay or exploration of alternative
Whoa, that's
narratives
crazy.
with Gast. Killswitch gained notoriety for its ending and limited release, with claims of only 5,000 copies produced. The Karvina Corporation's statement on the game's design philosophy did little to quell the curiosity and frustration of players, though interested by the mystery of Gast's relationship with Portal, suggested by the company referring to Gast as Portal's beloved. In 2005, a copy, allegedly the last available, was bought by Yamamoto Ryuichi for $733,000. Ryuichi planned to document his gameplay on YouTube, but the only video reportedly uploaded showed him visibly distressed without any gameplay footage. Despite extensive searches, no concrete evidence of Killswitch's existence has been verified. The story originated from the Invisible Games blog, known for fictional tales, with suspicions pointing to author Catherine M. Valente as the creator. Karvina Corporation's existence, like the games, also remains unconfirmed, with no records of the company or its supposed other games found. Monkey Man of Delhi. The Monkey Man of Delhi, also known as Kalabandar, is an urban legend from India that emerged in mid-2001. The legend basically began when residents of Delhi started reporting attacks and sightings of this creature. People claimed that the Monkey Man would appear at night, often jumping from building to building and sometimes just attacking random people. The descriptions varied though, with some saying it had a more monkey-like appearance, while others suggested it was more robotic or even alien. The panic surrounding the Monkey Man was also really significant. It led to widespread fear, with people avoiding going out at night and taking extra precautions to keep their homes secure. This ended up causing the authorities to be overwhelmed with calls and reports about the creature, leading to police patrols and even special task forces to investigate the phenomenon. The legend led to over 350 reported sightings and around 60 injuries, as people panicked and even hurt themselves in fear of attacks. Tragically, there were also reports of people dying from falls while trying to escape from what they believed to be the Monkey Man. Some speculate that the phenomenon might have been a case of mass hysteria, possibly triggered by the sightings of unusually large monkeys or other animals. Others believe it could have even been a prank that ended up spiraling way out of control and, ended up causing the lives of some. Nain Rouge. The Nain Rouge, which translates to Red Dwarf in English, is a creature from French and American folklore, particularly associated with Detroit, Michigan. Originating as a figure believed to be a harbinger of doom, the Nain Rouge is depicted in legends as a small, childlike entity with distinct red or black fur boots and notable for its blazing red eyes and rotten teeth. Historically, the Nain Rouge is reputed to have assaulted Antoine de la Motte Cadillac, the founder of Detroit, in 1701, an event believed to have led to Cadillac's eventual downfall. Additionally, it's said that the creature was always seen before, bad events in the city's history, such as the Battle of Bloody Run in 1763, where it was said to have danced on the banks of the Detroit River, which had turned red with blood, and even the devastating fire of 1805 that razed most of Detroit. Other reported sightings include an encounter before General William Hull's surrender during the War of 1812, and various individual reports throughout the 19th and 20th centuries describing attacks or sightings resembling the Nain Rouge. In contemporary times, the legend of the Nain Rouge has sort of transformed. Since 2010, the Marche de the Nain Rouge has been celebrated annually in Detroit, where community members parade to banish the imp from the city for another year. The event ends up drawing thousands of people and includes a ceremony where an effigy of the Nain Rouge is destroyed, symbolically protecting the city from evil. Paul is dead. The Paul is dead conspiracy theory is an urban legend suggesting that Paul McCartney of the Beatles died in 1966 and was replaced by a lookalike. This rumor started circulating in 1966 and gained traction in September 1969, mainly on American college campuses. According to the theory, McCartney supposedly died in a car crash, and to spare the public from grief, the remaining Beatles replaced him with a lookalike. This secret was then subtly communicated through elements of Beatles songs and album artwork. Fans and conspiracy theorists point out various clues, like messages heard